Hello, and welcome to The Always More Nerd, where we take a break from the infinite possibilities to talk about the news, reviews, and previews of all things comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and anything deemed nerdy. Today on the pod, we are talking about the Multiverse of Madness, Moon Knight, Thor trailer, Sony madness, Disney movie future, and so much more. But first, I am your host, Tim Lichty, and sitting across from me is the man who has finally shown up to actually record this podcast, Christopher Thomas Ford.
Why you gotta come at me like that, bro?
Already, dang. That's blazing.
I've never seen this man before in my life.
The man sitting next to him is my friend who likes Austin FC only as much to not actually pay attention to their standings, and that is Jordan. Hello,
bro.
welcome.
What are you doing today? What are you on?
All right, he's just coming for everybody.
Yeah.
What you got
And then
next?
sitting
All right,
next
Wanda.
to me,
Protect your neck.
it's sitting next to me is the man who doesn't care to watch the Snyderverse, the Snyder Cut, and that is Justin. Welcome in.
I mean, Warner Brothers has given me no reason to ever trust
Also,
them ever
to his
again.
defense, it's like 6 hours long, bro.
It's
But
worth
it's a
it.
great 6 hours, though.
Yeah,
but
but
is it?
who
But
has
is it?
the time?
Is it not good, though?
It's great.
It's definitely
I
much
do
better.
I do have the time. I didn't watch the first one. Like,
As you shouldn't.
after Batman v Superman, I decided that I was done with Warner Brothers, and I was like,
You know, I think if he doesn't watch the first one, though, you're not going to appreciate the Snyder Cut
That's a good
as
point.
much.
That's true.
Because, like, the thing that makes you like it is the fact that the first one sucks
so
so
you're
much.
not even saying that it's good. You're just like, oh, well, this is less
No, it's
bad.
good.
Okay.
They
it's
definitely
good.
have some great moments
good.
in it.
It's like, hey, man, I know you just cut yourself, but try putting a lemon on it. And then after that, put some antiseptic on it, and you'll be all right. You'll appreciate the antiseptic
All right,
more.
so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna watch this before we do our next one, and
Get
we can
that in
talk
writing?
about it. And
It's recorded.
it's recorded.
Same thing. Yeah.
It's there.
I was
and,
just checking something.
Yeah, cool.
and then I can decide whether or not I think it's really actually a good movie, or if it's just that people are watching it from, like you said, it's like, oh, this is way less bad. It's like a significant. It's like if you're coming from the negative, it feels way better.
No, look. It is almost a completely different movie. Like, it truly is. Like, I mean, there's some things that they obviously share, the things that Zach filmed before Josh took over, but it's a different film.
It truly is. Yeah,
Cool.
All right.
it's worth it.
All right,
It's
we'll stop.
worth
We'll stop the hatred, and we got some news to talk about
started
before
it.
we get to the main slice today. But let's go. We just got 3 news things today. First off, DC has an overhaul under this new WB and Discovery merger. Who would have saw this coming? Not me.
Literally everyone.
Yep.
Literally everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a few weeks ago, a merger between the two companies sparked wonder about the future of the DC universe and its films. And according to several news sites, it seems like the future of the DCEU is indeed in the forefront of the new executives' minds. It's been reported that the new CEO, David Zaslav, has been meeting and interviewing people to be the central voice and mind of DC content, like Kevin Feige. According to comicbook.com, Zaslav said this concerning the DC brand, quote, it lacks a coherent creative and brand strategy.
I've been saying that forever.
I know.
For years.
And that's-
Literal years.
I'm pretty sure that's all DC fans have been saying for years.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah.
But as long as they don't touch my comics, we're good.
Fair.
So
Fair
some
point.
changes and news have already started to surface, including the delays in multiple projects, as we mentioned in the last episode. But also we had the cancellation of Batwoman, Michael Shannon as Zod in The Flash, announcement of an Amanda Waller spinoff brought him through the world of James Gunn. This is some wild times to be a DC fan, because it's really, I'm wondering if they are going to just start slowing everything down after like the products that they already promised are going to happen and just start doing everything over. Because look, this is what we've been needing for a long time with the DC universe, is someone like Kevin Feige to come in and just go, all right, let's have a unified thought. This is because
That's
like
what I've been saying.
I know, but you haven't been here, so no one's ever
no,
hear you.
I sent that video. I sent that video.
I was watching the Disney Gallery documentary about the Book of Boba Fett, and that's one of the things that Dave Filoni was talking about, like bringing in all these characters from the comics and the books and everything. It's like, this is what people want. They want a unified universe that connects and touches one another. And so, yeah.
We want everything canonized.
Exactly. And look, I swear to if we don't get Henry Cavill back in for at least one more film, I'm gonna be
That's
done.
what I'm saying. If you're gonna
with-
bring back old dude, like why not?
If you're gonna bring back General Zod,
Yeah.
I will find him. If you bring him back, but not Henry Cavill, the god, the man, the myth, the legend, the beautiful dude who's on board, then no, I'm done. I will boycott WB.
Hey, you know,
Let's take it down a notch here, bro.
no, hey, I promised him his WB rant. You know, I get my Sony rant. It's fine. All I gotta say is the only way I'll be okay with them replacing Henry Cavill is if they got someone better. Now, I don't know that there's someone better. I don't know that they. But
I was
it's
gonna
like,
say, can you suggest?
oh no,
someone better?
I can't. But like, I think back to like when Chris Evans was first cast as Captain America. I was coming off of Chris Evans as the Human Torch. I was like, nah,
Right.
this is terrible.
Yeah.
This is terrible. And then I was like, oh, okay.
It's somebody that would have to take a risk.
Yeah. Or like even like John Krasinski when he started doing action movies, I was like, what? This is Jim from
It's
The Office.
true.
You know, so I think that there could be someone out there, and if they had a right director or whoever to come in and be like, I see it in this guy. And if obviously they'd have to impress me because hey, I'm not about to drop money on Warner Brothers. They got to earn it.
Right. Well, here's and this is probably my final thought on this. It's just if they're already announcing this Amanda Waller thing, which is brand new, they haven't filmed anything. This is pre-production. That's still technically in the DCE universe.
Yes.
Right.
And so they're sticking around for something. So unless they decide to change things completely with this Flash movie, then it's going to tick me off if they do get a new Superman. I don't mind if they try to change directions and bring in a different Superman, whether it's, Superboy or like, what's his name?
Superman Earth 2.
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan.
Right. Like,
Let's do it.
That's fine. I'm
Yes.
on board with that. But if they're sticking around with the DCEU, then bring my boy back.
They need to.
Bring him back. All right, let's talk about, because you wanted to rant a little bit here. Next up in the news is our Sony madness. Guys, since our last episode, there's been some time to let Morbius just settle.
Still haven't seen it.
Of course you
I
have.
refuse. No.
okay, same,
This one is
same.
an intentional choice. I'm not going to go watch it.
You
Yep.
got a friend here.
Hey,
We're on the same side.
I might watch it if it hits a streaming service for free.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like HBO Max or Disney Plus, I watch it on that. But I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
No.
So on Rotten Tomatoes, it currently and pretty much indefinitely forever now has a 17% critic score and a 71% with audiences.
71. Who are these people?
I know.
I think whoever was actually putting in the percentages is dyslexic. So first time he was like 17 on it, got it, perfect. Let's do it again. 71. All right, send. Wait, no.
It's too late.
But it was too late. It's already
It's
out there.
out there.
And Jared Leto, I don't know if you guys have seen. I think I sent you guys that picture where he is prematurely accepting his Oscar for this movie.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what's kind of making us nervous, because you have Kraven the Hunter, which is currently in production right now with Aaron Taylor Johnson in the lead role, and you have Christopher Abbott and as the main villain, and you also have Russell Crowe as Sergei's father. You have this new announced El Muerto, which, again, if you never heard of this character, join the club.
Never.
If I'm not mistaken, he only has like maybe 3 comic mentions.
Let's put it in perspective. I have probably read every Spider-Man comic that's come out in the past 15 years.
Of course.
And I was like, hold up.
You gotta take a second because I was the same way. I was like, it sounds familiar.
Like I had to go on Google. Let's put it that way. I had to go on Google and be like, who are we making a movie about? And
Look,
I'm like,
when I first saw this, I thought it was that bad guy from Despicable Me 3. The guy with the chicken. Like that was my first thought. I was like, are they really? And then I
Live
saw
action?
It was like a Marvel Sony thing. I was like, hold on. He is not canonizing Despicable Me in the Marvel Sony universe. Like we're not doing this today.
So if you guys don't know who this is, he
I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't
If you
matter.
don't know, you're in good company.
he's a wrestler who
Yeah.
inherits essentially a magical mask that gives him powers.
So Nacho Libre then.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Pretty
Nacho
much.
Libre, and he's going to be played by Bad Bunny. So
Bunny.
this is just yeah. And then the third film in all this Sony craziness, you had this Madam Web movie that's coming out, which looks very confusing because of the casting that's been chosen, and yeah. So Sony is they're
What? Tony's trying to build a Spider-Man universe
they are
with no Spider-Man, first of all.
Which is insane to me.
Exactly. It's like, hey, we're going to do all these Spider-Man related characters and we're going to just connect them. Like, what are we trying to build a Sinister Six to fight who? We want revenge on Spider-Man?
Yeah.
Which Spider-Man? I'm sorry, Vulture. Where'd you get your suit? What are you talking about? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes any sense. And then we're going to pull in a wrestler. Then we're going to have Madam Web. Which Madam Web? I'm guessing Julia Carpenter, who was a Spider-Woman. But, like, for what purpose? For why? Like, what? Who wants these movies is my question. Because Warner Brothers, I'm pissed at because they have Spider-Man. They have, not Spider-Man, gosh, they have Superman. They have got Batman. They've got Green Lantern. They even got Martian Manhunter. Give me a great Martian Manhunter movie. They have all of these great characters and they're making Bat movies. Sony
Every
is like
5 seconds.
yeah, and Sony's like, who do we own the rights to? There's a random Spider-Man character. Let's make a movie about him.
This was my viewpoint on Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, somebody just walked into the archive and they're like, that comic over there on the table, what is it? Guardians of the Galaxy? Give it to me. We're making a movie. And that was it. Like, that's got to be what Sony's doing right now, but they're picking the worst comics.
Yep.
But and here's the thing though, if they had great vision, like Guardians of the Galaxy, I was very familiar and I was like, this is insane. This is never going to go well. I was wrong.
But it went well.
And now I just like Kevin Feige could tell me he's making a live action Spider-Ham movie, and I'd be like,
I'd watch that.
No,
Yeah.
it's for
I'll be like, all right, let's do
100%
it.
I'll watch that.
But Sony's like, Sony could tell me that they are making a Spider-Man movie
Sinister Six or
with either they could bring back Andrew Garfield, they could bring back Tobey Maguire, and I'd be like, no, don't want it. And it's not because I don't like Tobey Maguire and I don't like Andrew Garfield. It's because
you don't like
Sony has not. They can't be trusted
their
right
track
now.
record is not. Yeah.
It's like, don't bring them back and make a bad movie. It's like,
Yeah.
don't make any of the last 4 X-Men movies. Like, don't like. It's like people are like, oh, I want an X-Men movie. I want a good X-Men movie. I don't want.
I would
this trash.
love one.
Yeah,
Give it
it'd
to
be nice.
Kevin Feige.
Yes.
Don't let Sony touch it. Don't let
Exactly.
Fox touch it. Like,
Yeah.
we're done.
All right, you
right.
good?
Yeah.
All right,
I
everyone
can
all right?
rant for another 10 minutes,
Yeah,
but we're
you
gonna
can.
cut. We're gonna
Definitely
stop
can.
right
Yeah.
here.
All right,
Yeah.
we're okay. We're all friends here.
We're good.
Okay,
We're
okay.
good. We're good.
We're all good now.
I haven't come
How
for
are you?
anybody yet.
Yeah.
All right, last bit of news, and this is just an easy one, but it's worth mentioning. So Disney at the CinemaCon, they came out with a slate of the new movies that are coming out over the next year, and I thought it'd be worth to mention some of these ones that are coming out. I didn't mention all of them because some of them are just way out there, but we have Lightyear coming out June 17th. We got the Bob's Burger movie coming out May 27th. Thor: Love and Thunder, of course, July 8th. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, November 11th. Avatar: The Way of Water, December 16th. Are we
Hold up.
This made me just laugh.
are we excited about this? Or
No.
All right.
Who cares about Avatar?
I just before I say anything, I just want to make sure I'm not gonna hurt anyone's feelings because this is.
I will hurt your feelings. I don't even care right now.
No.
Who's making these? Who made Avatar $1 billion? Like, how did?
James Cameron,
James Cameron.
Yeah,
lovers,
I know, but like, how?
the
How?
Titanic guy.
It's such a mediocre movie. It's not a bad movie, but like, who cares about a sequel 10, 15 years later?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
He
definitely a lot.
waited. He for sure waited too long.
Yeah,
I don't remember anything that happened in that movie other than
I think that's probably his
alien
point.
sex.
Like, you
But,
got
like,
look.
Alien sex.
If you've seen Pocahontas, you've seen Avatar. It
Yeah.
is literally the same thing, but with alien sex. It's all the same.
basically yes.
Yes.
All right.
That's it.
Cool.
It's alien sexy Pocahontas, which
All right.
is wildly offensive to literally any culture out there. But go on.
all right, moving on.
Yep. Well, let's stay there.
February 17th, The Marvels. You have on May 5th, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Super stoked. June 30th, Indiana Jones. I don't
So
know.
I am cautiously
Yeah, I don't know.
enthusiastic about Indiana Jones.
Did Disney own it on the last one, Kingdom of Skull? Did they own it?
I
then?
don't think so. The Crystal Skull. I
No,
don't think
they didn't.
Disney owned
So,
it.
no.
No, I think because that came with them with Fox.
Okay.
But Harrison Ford is old, man.
He's old.
I'm like, I would almost rather that they bring back Shia LaBeouf.
I was just gonna say they're probably bringing back
and,
Shia.
and do a good movie with him.
Yeah.
because like they set him up as his
He's
son.
not a bad actor.
He's a great
not,
actor. He's just a little.
He's just an eccentric
unstable.
person.
Yeah.
which is fine.
Just do it.
Yeah. All
But
right.
yeah, him. But yeah, gosh,
Same with
Harrison Ford though.
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Last one on this list is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yes.
I think this one's too long as well. They should have done this one sooner.
I agree. However, based on the movie that we're going to talk about today, I got a feeling it's going to tie in. I could be wrong, but I got a feeling.
The thing with Ant-Man, I don't think it's too far away because Marvel and the way Marvel ties everything else together. I think they can drop an Iron Man 4 and people will be like, all right, it's been 10 years. I don't care.
True. Yeah.
You know, because they just weave everything in together. And I think that more, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Let's leave that.
Let's get into some reviews. We got only 2 things to talk about today, and let's talk about the one that we are definitely hiding the main one right now. But let's just talk about. Well, I don't know, because I think of the 2, I actually might have enjoyed this more. Let's talk about Moon Knight.
Okay.
Let's talk about
What? Okay.
You enjoyed it more?
Then Multiverse.
All right.
Okay, so here's
I'll allow it for now.
okay. So here's
I'll
how we're
allow
gonna
it
do
for
this. We have a new system. So
I
last time
feel
we
like
tried
I'm
this.
with you on that, though.
Oh.
Last time,
I think.
Okay, just
Let the
before
games
you hate
begin.
me, let's talk about. We're gonna do this in
what I have
different
to do?
segments. Let's just do some general reactions about Moon Knight. What
Yeah.
do we generally think about it?
I liked Moon Knight a lot. Like, I didn't know too much about Moon Knight. I knew he was like a fun character in Marvel, almost like Deadpool-esque as far as like the comics go, but I wasn't prepared for the full storyline like I would be if you released another Spider-Man movie or
Yeah.
Superman. Like, I know of the character, wasn't fully in depth on it. So it was a really fun ride for me. The actors, Ethan Hawke did an amazing job as a villain, even though he really didn't do too much, like physically, like you would
Yeah.
expect a Marvel villain to do nowadays. With Oscar Isaac, an amazing actor.
Yeah.
And watching him like switch mentally on screen was really cool. Just like the back and forth, which I'm sure a lot of those were done like one shot as well.
Yeah, and
Yes.
this body language of that too was
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah, it wasn't even just like the accent. Like, he completely became a different person every time he switched back and forth. And I just really appreciated it. It was a cool show, great writing. I loved it.
Jordan?
Yeah, retweet. But a thing to point out, I like the root of the trauma that caused it.
Oh my gosh.
I want to say I liked it, but watching
Right.
it was like, yeah, this is hard. it's like, get back up there. Get back up there. But no, like, basically retweet everything he said. But I like the way they really took time to explain that.
Yeah.
Because I expected Jake at that time. Like, I was like, okay, this next episode has to be about Jake. And they didn't do anything with Jake until the end, which I appreciated. But I think the future of it, like with I've seen people talk about him getting a movie. I don't know. I like the season. I like what they're doing on Disney Plus. I'd be cool to season 2, but yeah.
I'll talk later about where I think it's going to go with predictions, but I agree. It's definitely a weird feeling because like it works so well in this format, so it's definitely a thing to ponder. What about you, man?
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I liked how they kind of switched up the characters a little bit too. One thing I noticed, spoilers for the end, when we get Jake at the end, is like, Jake has a very expensive car. It's no, but like, and also the license plate definitely set Spectre.
Right.
But in the comics, Stephen Grant was this like millionaire, like playboy, Bruce Wayne archetype, and I feel like that might be kind of like where they're putting Jake in that direction. And I'd love to see more exploration of that in the future. What I do like is that we didn't really get like a good view of like Jake's personality, because they can take time to figure out where they want to go with that in the future, depending on how things shake up in the universe and where we see him again, if we see him again, which hopefully we do. But yeah, as a whole, I really liked it. Like, the story was good. The pacing, I do feel like the first 2 episodes could have been faster. Like, I do feel like it dragged a little bit. And I'm fine with that. Like, I'm always fine with that. But like, I definitely am aware of how that'll affect other viewers who expect a certain thing. And I feel like Marvel kind of has gone where they drop shows like this and WandaVision are similar in how they are wildly different.
Yeah.
And it's like they have to kind of like bookend that with other content that's going to be more formulaic. Like, you had WandaVision, then you have Falcon and Winter Soldier. And you're like, oh, feels like just like a really long Marvel movie. So it's like putting that content in the middle. I think it's good for how they're releasing it. But yeah, I would love to see. I don't know if I want a season 2 or if I want to see Moon Knight's story play out with other people.
Right. Yeah. So for my general, because I mean, obviously I loved it. I think that is where I'm kind of standing with too. I feel like they might hit a decision to rather do a season 2 or maybe start introducing these other Midnight Sun characters in their own shows, and then eventually, because we know Daredevil is coming back, so I wonder if they might have a Midnight Suns movie. And maybe that's them on the big screen. I could be wrong, but I got a feeling if they're going to keep going with these Disney Plus shows, that might be an easy way to set up this backstory to all these characters. So that way, when it comes to the movie, you don't have to do all that.
I'm trying to figure out how long they have planned out already.
Well,
10 years.
Well,
yes.
that's they're starting that right now.
Yeah.
Kevin's going into this huge meeting with all these creators about the next 10 years of the MCU.
Yeah, so obviously next 10 years is like what they're saying, but truthfully, how long do they have planned out? Because a guy like Kevin Feige is not just satisfied with 10 years.
Well, no,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
He's probably got like 20, 30 years worth of movies and shows and all that stuff
Yeah.
like
Well, I'm
planned.
sure-
And obviously it's going to change as stuff is released and fans react.
right.
But I think that man has got like long-term goals.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's got like, especially when it comes to phases. Like, I bet you, like, all right, because obviously I think what we've seen in Phase 4 so far is a lot more mental things going on. Even with Black Widow, everything has to do with your inner self, how to accept yourself. You have that with Shang-Chi. You have that with, obviously, with Moon Knight, definitely. It's a lot more mental, I'm catching. And what you'll see with even Multiverse of Madness, it's about loving yourself as well. I mean, well, obviously we see that with Steven and Mark, but no, I think, and what you're mentioning with the MCU shows, I was worried about the finale because I was worried because that's the trend I've been seeing in these MCU shows is the first 2 usually take it's just slow. It's a slow burn, especially WandaVision. That first episode, it was definitely interesting, but you definitely needed that second one to go off of. But then all the finales, I was always a little underwhelmed. They were still good, but I was always, maybe except for Loki, I was a little underwhelmed with all the other ones. With Moon Knight, it was like halfway for me. Like, I enjoyed it, but I was like, I wanted a little bit more Jake in it. Like, I don't know how, but I don't know. I felt like there's something tiny missing. But it was also really short.
It was.
The finale?
It was like
A
40,
Moon Knight?
Yeah, it was like 40
minutes.
minutes, yeah.
I mean, the episode was 48.
For real?
Yeah.
I thought it was 40.
That includes credits.
And it includes credits,
credits,
but
but yeah.
I mean, it was on par with like the other episodes in terms of time. It wasn't like it was a shorter episode.
Right. But it wasn't a longer one. That's my point. It's like with the finale.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
want a little more.
But
Some wanted 52 minutes.
Yes.
54, yeah. Put it at
I
50.
will say the finale for this, my favorite finales were probably, honestly, I didn't have an issue with any of the finales that we've gotten so far. Like WandaVision's was probably the most satisfying for me because it's like, at that point, we already had a continuation set up. We knew that she was going to be in Multiverse of Madness at that point by the time that finale dropped.
Yeah.
So it was left at a point where it's like, oh, okay. It's like you aren't left wondering what's going to happen next.
True.
Loki, I mean, it literally didn't announce the season 2 till the end credits. So you're just like, what? And then you watch the credits and it's like season 2, you know, whatever. And you know, the King surprise with that was also. But I enjoyed it because I'm like, oh, this is gonna have ramifications for the multiverse with Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man and opening up the multiverse. Falcon and Winter Soldier, it just ended. It was fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't upset about it or anything. I was like, oh, okay, we're gonna just get another story. Again, very Marvel movie-esque. Like it was like, all right, we got a self-contained story. The end, and it left things open with Sharon.
That's right.
Being the power broker,
Yes.
which
Yep.
is definitely going to play into Armor Wars. Side note.
Yeah.
And then
Super pumped for that.
yes, and then this one, Moon Knight, ended, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. We have a lot to explore in the future,
True.
and we're going to see where that ends up. But I like it left it open, like, oh, there's Jake, because before that, you're like, oh, how are we going to get Moon Knight again? And then at the very end, it's like, he's never really gone.
Yeah. No, Khonshu was definitely intentional on his word choice there. He's
Yeah,
like,
Oh,
"No,
yes,
I will
both.
absolutely let you both go.
Yeah.
The two of you, you and
Steven.
Steven.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys go.
Also, the suit, Khonshu's suit. I was like,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
taken straight from Jeff Lemire's run, I think. Anyway,
All right. Speaking of, let's go into detailed thoughts about it. Like, we don't have to go into every single thing that we remember, but some of mine that I just, notably thought of was Oscar Isaac's. Just, we talked about a little bit earlier about his accents. If I remember correctly, it was actually his idea to do the different accents.
yes.
That was spot on. Oscar, he just truly, as you mentioned, with the body language, that was just perfect.
I also like that his British accent is kind of not good.
Oh yeah,
And but then
but
see,
he
it's like,
explains it why,
and he came up with it as like a 5-year-old or whatever. Well, he was not 5, but like as a little kid.
right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, okay, his not good British accent actually makes sense in character. I don't know if it was
Yeah.
intentionally not good, but it's not good, and
Yeah.
it works.
Well, speaking of, let's talk about episode 5, because I think we can spend like at least 10 minutes talking about episode 5, because that one I have never seen in like very few shows ever go that raw. That, I mean, I'm glad they didn't show anything, but
Yeah.
that truly, I mean, I don't know if is that stuff that's like part of the
So-
comics as far as that origin, or
See, his origin has always been sketchy.
like
in
I know
the
about
comics.
Mark like becoming Moon Knight, but as far as like his childhood, is that
It's fluctuated, like where always revamped. It's like where all 3 personalities were there as a kid. Like there's something I read very recently where it's like his first time meeting Jake, like as a child, or other times past it's been his mind wasn't fractured until he died, and then Khonshu brought him back, and he was. I mean, because he died, and that was a side effect of that.
Very traumatic.
Yeah, I mean, dying little traumatic. Been there, done that. But hey, it's so yeah. No, I mean, it's all very fluid. Like Mark has never had a stable origin. Now, as far as like having a brother who died, as far as I know, that's never been a thing in the comics. I'm not as well versed in Moon Knight as I am in a lot of other characters, because I mean, there's just a lot. But
yeah. But yeah, episode 5, I think that one, just not expecting it. And we always know episode 5 in the MCU trend with all these shows is usually one of the big punch ones.
Hard. Yeah.
But yeah, that one
Truthfully,
hit me.
I couldn't watch it all in one sitting. Like I started watching it, and then I saw his brother go into the cave, and I was like, "Nope, I know where this is going. I am not in the emotional place to watch this today. I had to stop it, put something else on, and then I came back later. I think like the next day or later that night. I don't remember, but I couldn't watch it all in one sitting. It was rough.
I loved the revelation really that Steven was the protector in a way. Like he was his getaway, and how while they were fighting all those, I don't know what the creatures are actually called, but they were fighting on the ship, and Steven became the protector and all that. And I just loved that was his part of his self that really he started to accept, and like, I can do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, episode 5 was fantastic.
Great. Yeah.
Layla, as we got a new MCU hero, Scarlet Scarab. How are we feeling about that?
with a question mark. Yeah.
Temporarily.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, I like they kind of left it open as to like whether or not she'll actually be the Scarlet Scarab. Feige said something about that.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want to necessarily commit to that. Which, sure, why not? I don't care. Scarlet Scarab, really? I am very unfamiliar with. I'm gonna just put that out there. I'm like, familiar name. Couldn't tell you anything. Couldn't tell you how remotely accurate her costume
Right.
is or anything
Yeah.
like that. But I like that we do have Layla like as an original character, and something different. Something
Yeah.
different. And like she's, I don't know, a lot more. She's got a lot less trauma than most of our other heroes.
Yeah.
Especially like in this season, it's like there's so much trauma for everybody. Like.
Yeah,
I
everyone's
think
got it.
Marvel is really trying to relate to millennials and Gen Z, and
like,
that's
hey.
basically all we have. Like, we don't have houses, we don't have our own cars, we don't have yards and picket fences. We have trauma. We have pets, plants, and trauma. There you go.
Pets, plants, PTSD.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. So that's all my detailed thoughts. Anything else you guys want to share about it before we move on?
Now let's talk about Doctor Strange.
Well, hold on. I
got
got a
one
couple more
more
things
thing.
here.
Yeah,
So where do we think season 2? If we do get a season 2, where do you think we're going from here? Obviously, we got to kind of show Jake, but
I think they're definitely going to show Jake. Like, as the main character of season 2 and just have Mark and Steven as like background. Because like in this season, they focus on both of them together, Mark and Steven.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just going to make them like background characters and have Jake as the main character. I also think that he is probably going to interact with a lot of like the street level MCU heroes rather than like the big names until after season 2.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That'll be a fun direction.
that would be.
I'd be satisfied with that.
Yeah.
I don't have any predictions as far as Moon Knight, just because there's way too many options. It's so open-ended. And I'm like, hey, let's just see what you all do and just make it good. And I don't
Yeah,
care.
just give us a season 2.
All right. Any nitpicks before we move on? Anything that anything that you didn't care about?
I didn't really super like the CGI costume.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I know that why they had to do it that way, at least for some of the scenes, but like, I needed more of the real.
I hope that when Khonshu died that we get a real costume, but hey, it's fine. Not die, got in prison, whatever. But hey, other than that, that's my big nitpick. And I think some of it too is like CGI has become more noticeable as cameras and TVs have gotten better.
Yeah,
Right.
Because I go back and watch other Marvel stuff where I'm like, I never noticed the CGI here.
yes.
But now I'm just like, well, everything's visually better.
right.
Like
I
I felt
know.
that in Doctor Strange too.
Yeah.
There's a scene I was like, oh.
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, man, suspend your disbelief for CGI. Come on.
No,
It is a superhero movie.
and it's fine. Like it's really just like I would like less CGI.
Yeah.
Same.
Give me a puppet. Give me Grogu.
Give me Grogu. All right. Final ratings for Moon Knight. What do we got? Out of 10.
9.
8.5.
I would say 8.5.
I gave it a 9 too. I really.
And I'm gonna go down to 8.
I
just because you said 9.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it.
I had to think
It's
about it.
because is it because I like Days of Future Past? Is that why we're doing this?
Oh man! Don't even give me. Hey, we
That's
don't
a
have enough
whole
time
segment.
for a Days of Future
I don't
Tales.
want your future. Okay.
We need a whole
Let's talk about the big one. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. General reactions, no detailed thoughts. What did we think?
I really enjoyed it.
Oh my
I
god!
enjoyed myself.
Hey,
I
let 'em
enjoyed
go,
the
let 'em go.
movie. I enjoyed everything about it. Elizabeth Olsen was amazing. Oh my god! Can we talk about the big reveal? No, I'm just kidding. I still haven't seen this movie. I still haven't seen the
was
movie.
like, how
I'm
long is it
going to
gonna
watch
go?
it today. I could rant for hours.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, yeah, you were sitting right beside me. I
Yeah.
was gonna join in too.
Oh man!
No, I still haven't seen it. I'm gonna see it today. I promise. But as of right now, I have no thoughts.
To Chris's defense, we are filming this on the day after.
Yes.
On the
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah,
so-
yeah.
Give me,
Yeah.
give me
He has no-
some
he
time.
has- he has
I've
no
got a
excuse.
kid. I've got
Just-
2 kids and a wife and a dog and a cat and a full-time job. I don't have time to go to premieres.
I mean,
You know
I did,
that's
but
valid.
that sounds like an excuse.
we
That's
got
valid.
Oh, it's
we got
absolutely an
babysitters
excuse.
and-
Yeah, I'm like, now I
Jordan,
gotta go
what'd
to
you
sleep
think?
sometime.
General reactions.
I had a lot of I liked it. I like where it's going, like with the future. I'm glad that, I mean, based off that post-credit scene, it seemed like there's going to be a third Doctor Strange.
Oh
yeah.
my god!
Should I just unplug my headphones and like jam while y'all talk about it?
If you really want to.
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. I mean, I revealed the most spoiler thing about that movie to you.
Look, I don't care about spoilers.
That's
Say
what I'm
what you
saying.
want. Say what you want. I do not care about
No,
spoilers.
That stresses me
No,
out.
Wanda.
All right, Jordan.
Wanda went crazy. I liked how, because I've only seen like this guy right here next to me. I seen the Super Bowl trailer and probably like trailer 2 after that, like the second trailer
Yeah.
after that. And it seemed like, at least for my perspective, I thought the evil Strange was going to be the main villain. It seemed like.
Yeah, so I felt that too.
And I'm glad that they made me think that because there's always a question like, okay, can Wanda be the villain? Can Doctor Strange be the villain? But I liked how Wanda was just like, I want my damn kids.
Yeah.
Give me my kids. She's like, I don't care if I have to go through my like other universe's selves. I'm like going to get my kids.
Yeah.
And nothing could stop her but herself.
Right.
That's what I liked about it. It was
No,
like
I fully
ruthless.
understand that. Like as I was growing up into who I am today, I was always like, I would do anything for my kids. Then I didn't want kids for a while, and I was just like, yeah, I kind of would understand what people do for their kids.
Yeah.
But now that I have my own children, I would burn this world to the ground
Yeah.
to get my kids if somebody took them from me, or if they were just lost for whatever reason, and I still had that memory of them. I would do the same exact thing.
Yeah.
I would go on a multiversal rampage to have my children.
Because it sucked for her because what Strange kept saying and, you know, kept reminders like, your children are basically fake. Like, you made them. Like, you made them up. Like, but just to what you're saying, like, whether
All
it's
kids are made up. That's exactly. I made all
I think
of
she
them.
said that too. She was like, you made your kids with magic. And she was like, yeah, that's how it works. I think she
Yeah.
said something like that in the movie too. But no, just how I think it was just like, she was just an absolute witch, like
Right.
menace. Like, you could not stop her. Like, it took down the Illuminati in like, what, a minute and a half?
Yeah.
It hurt to watch, but it was amazing. And I like the way they pushed the horror of it too.
Yeah.
I like that too.
I went into this movie seeing some of the reviews, which I need to stop doing that. But only paid attention to it because of Sam Raimi, which I'll talk a little bit more about when Justin comes back. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, not great. If that makes sense. I think I enjoyed it, and there were definitely moments in there that I was cheering and super excited about, and there
Yes.
were moments that I was also like,
Okay.
yeah, all right, cool, weird
Yeah.
choice, but okay,
Yeah.
but no,
Weird flex, but go on.
right,
Yeah,
right, but no, overall, thought it was a good film. All right, Justin, what did you think?
I thought that this was the worst Marvel movie I've ever seen. No, I'm lying. I'm lying.
You say that, but I saw a couple people say that.
Yeah, and you know what? Those
What?
people are terrible. You know, it's fine. You didn't see this movie. Get out of here,
I
bro.
wouldn't say that, but
You know, some people might be like, "Oh, this movie sucked," and if anyone tells this movie sucked, don't listen to them. I love this movie. There was so much that I don't even know where to start. Okay.
just general thoughts.
Oh my gosh. I thought it was wonderful. I really liked in the first like part where they first fall through the multiverse and they're going through all of these different universes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. So many like
Did they do the animated universe?
there was an anime one. There was one where they were paint. There
Yes.
was one, but we also saw the Living Tribunal.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and we
Yep.
saw the Living Tribunal statue in Loki.
Yeah.
A statue
That's
of
right. Yeah,
So I'm like, oh, you just
they're
They were
playing
there.
with it.
yeah, it's like they've definitely been alluding to like some higher cosmic concepts, and I'm sure we'll probably see more of that in Thor.
Yeah.
But oh man, I love that. There's a lot of stuff. There's even like a 2099 looking universe.
Yeah.
There is there's just a lot of cool stuff there. I was like, that was really
So
cool.
what you're saying is, if DCU can get their crap together, we might have some amalgamation. movies
Let's
coming out.
I hope not. I hope not.
No, you didn't like the amalgam comics
I man, you're making me mad
with
about
Dark
things.
Claw. And,
Dark Claw, and
what
there was
it,
a
Super Soldier.
yeah, there was who's the Green Lantern one?
Oh, bro, I don't even remember.
Yeah, but I had some as a kid. My mom threw them away when I went to college.
Wow.
Yeah, she
I
threw
know
away a
that
lot
pain.
of. She also threw away. I had about half of the volume 1 of Deadpool.
Oh my god.
That one hurts.
Ouch.
That hurts a lot. That was.
Dang.
She
That
didn't
was-
even sell them. She just threw them out.
Just threw it out. Just threw out all my comics. Hundreds.
I would have cried.
I did. I cried again as an adult when I realized all the stuff I lost and how much it's worth.
Yeah. No, I'm in that same boat, bro.
Like, I'm talking-
I fully understand. I get it.
Yes.
Thousands.
My mom did that
that's
with
a whole other
Pokemon
podcast.
cards.
No, that is actually, we've done that podcast. I get it though. I understand.
All right, let's talk about some detailed thoughts about this one. For only 2 hours and 6 minutes, this movie packs a lot into it.
Yes, I actually liked the runtime after having these 3-hour Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I was pretty okay for a 2-hour movie. Like, it didn't run long. It didn't have a lull in the middle. And I had to pee for like 80% of that movie. So, that 2 hours is great. Man, honestly, though, one of the best parts, jumping ahead, but when the Illuminati show up, Professor X rose up, full X-Men 92 style
Yeah.
suit. The colors,
chair.
the chair, and the theme music. I don't know if y'all caught that. Like that music, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I literally got chills. I was like,
We
was
looked over at each other. We were like,
I was like, the music was dope. Also, the costumes in this movie were
Oh yeah, they were pretty
top
good.
notch.
Yeah.
I mean, bringing back Black Bolt, the same Black Bolt from the Inhumans TV show, which I admittedly never watched.
I watched it. It wasn't great. You didn't miss much.
Oh no, I mean the reviews just were so bad that I was like, no, I'm gonna pass. But giving him a real costume, like
Yeah.
great costume for Black Bolt. I would love to see him again because honestly, I didn't watch the TV show, but he seemed like a good Black Bolt actor from what we saw.
he
'Cause,
was
like,
actually.
Yeah.
Black Bolt doesn't really talk much, so
Yeah.
It's hard to screw that up.
but no, I mean you gotta have the body language, and I feel like he emoted well.
Okay.
Like I've like, man, he gave him a very condescending sign language response, and I was like, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, and also the surprise Captain Marvel twist.
Yeah, I like that.
Like I was fully expecting to see
Brie Larson,
her
Monica.
daughter. Who?
Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, Monica's her name, right?
No.
Maria.
Maria.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Monica.
yeah.
So yeah, I was fully expecting to see Spectrum, Maria, who, you know, we saw in WandaVision, because she was in the comics, she was the second Captain Marvel after
Right.
Marvel, the
Yeah.
original. So I was fully expecting to see her, not her mother. Fun twist, but I'm here for it. And then obviously the big one is John Krasinski.
John f***ing Krasinski. Come
Yes.
on.
As
Yes.
Professor X, or not Professor X. What the hell?
Yeah, can we
as
let's
Reed
restart that?
Richards.
Let's start that over.
I said this
No.
earlier. I was the only one in that theater. I was mad. You can ask my wife. I was the only one in that theater. I was like, yeah. I'm like,
That's sad.
Oh,
we not seeing this right
we
now?
got a full, we got a full applause in our theater.
applause.
I was scared though because a lot of times it gets too loud and I miss dialogue. I didn't miss any.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
It wasn't no Spider-Man like
I'd be
you
down
know.
with that. Like the quick cheer, I'm always down for.
Yeah.
But like, y'all shut up. I'm trying to watch this movie.
I remember the first time I saw Avengers, the second time I saw Avengers too, when Hulk slams Loki around
Oh,
and he
yeah.
goes,
Yeah.
"Puny God." I was like, "What did he say?" The theater was so loud.
Who
I'm like,
are you?
I was like, I just want to know what he said.
That's why you bought the ticket twice,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and
just for that one
yeah.
line.
But for real, I was like, "Oh, I finally hear what he said." And I was like, "Nope, all right, cool, whatever." But yeah, dude, that movie was wild. It was
Yeah.
wild. Like Wanda going off the deep end. That was
She was, I think, the star
Oh,
of the film. I think
absolutely.
if
Should have been Scarlet Witch, Multiverse of Madness.
I mean,
Pretty much.
She dominated a lot of the screen time. Every time she was on screen, it was just like it was her show. It was really about her. Like even the scenes where we thought in the trailer was gonna be zombie Scarlet Witch. Like even still, then when we realized it wasn't zombie, it still just felt so.
No zombies. Oh.
Well, yes. Okay. Well, I mean, okay, you're gonna find out
yeah,
anyways.
I'm gonna watch it today, and I don't care about spoilers. So go.
So he has to, in order to get back to 616, he has to take over this dead body of another Strange, and so he dreamwalks into this dead Strange. So he does, in a way, become a zombie.
Okay.
So it's not like a zombie.
You know, I'm okay with it.
But there's an undead Strange body floating around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is definitely another Doctor Strange corpse just floating around in their main universe. But man, other things worth talking about. The fight with the Illuminati.
That okay. That was actually probably one of my nitpicks because it was so short. Like I enjoyed it because it was so brutal.
I
and-
liked that. it
I
was short.
heard about this fight, and I will say that the shortness of the fight probably speaks to Wanda's power.
no, it
Yeah.
absolutely does. Like I'm
and
not doubting that.
And that's why I like it. It's like she just because also the arrogance, which hey, you know, you can't have Reed Richards and not have arrogance. But
You know what? This is what it must be like to not be a Superman fan.
oh. Oh, just this revelation of like, oh man, yeah. But
Yeah.
like, but the fact that like
Fair.
they're just like, we will deal with whatever. Like no, you're the biggest threat because they had this bad experience with a Stephen Strange. So they're
Right.
like, all Stephen Stranges must be the worst. And Stephen's like, wait, you tried to kill me, Baron Mordo. Like, what
Yeah,
the-
yeah.
Carl. Also, like that line. He's like, your name is Carl.
yeah.
Oh man, that cracked me up. But for real though, like that,
That
fight,
fight,
though, like I mean, it was brutal. The Black Bolt.
Blood was shown.
That was okay. That was one of the things I'm going to nitpick later a little bit about Sam Raimi a little bit, but that's those scenes as far as how far he went when and how she killed everyone. I was not expecting that out of an MCU film.
Yeah, it was definitely it had. If you're a fan of like the Evil Dead movies, you're definitely gonna feel that energy for the horror-esque scenes.
Right.
But yeah, the level of violence that Wanda.
She
Yeah.
Jesus.
And I mean, it really sets it up like, you know, because I mean, there's a point in the movie where it's like, okay, so Wanda's still clearly she snapped. She had a traumatic experience in WandaVision and all that. Like, and then she opened up the Darkhold, which is never a great idea.
Nope.
And
Yeah.
Anything named Darkhold, or the Dark Book, the Dark anything, just avoid it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and so it's like, oh, okay, it's like, okay, so, maybe Wanda can be redeemed by the end. No, she didn't just murder people. She violently.
Yes,
murdered.
and that's what we talked about because I asked him. I was like, "Do you think like she's dead?" And you're like, "Yeah, she's got to be dead." Like the amount of people that she's killed. Like I don't think there's.
But that was okay. So here's my question. Here's my question in this because maybe this wasn't clarified enough. Because one of the things I will nitpick about, and I guess we're going to skip around with this, was her fight with Charles Xavier. That to me felt so underwhelmed. I felt like he would have. I mean, the dude. I don't know what. Maybe this version is just different, but he's got to be more powerful than that.
Yes. Yeah. I agree
like,
with that.
In the mind, he's got to be more powerful
So
than that.
So that one actually reminded me of
Professor X, you ain't got no legs.
But I mean, like it was such a short. Like he didn't even actually fight her. He
No.
he,
No,
he tried to go in to
help.
save.
He's trying to save their universe's version of Wanda.
So is that who it was? Because
when he was like trying to pull her out of the rubble.
I thought that was
Same
actual
here.
Wanda. That's why I was questioning because is he just trying to save Wanda because Scarlet Witch has taken over so much?
I thought.
No, he's trying to pull that universe's Wanda back
Interesting.
into control. So when he's in her mind, like that was all very like pulled from the comics, like all of that. I was like, oh, this looks very familiar. I couldn't tell you where off the top of my head, but like I've seen that dynamic of being in the mind like that. And then the Scarlet Witch just shows up and snaps his neck, and he just dies. I was like, oh.
See, and that's my like. Look, Captain Britain, I get it. She's got a shield and a jetpack. That's fine.
Hey, I'm a nitpicker right there because Captain Britain's a separate character who I'm very fond of. That's Captain Carter.
You're right. I'm
Captain
sorry.
Carter.
You're correct. I'm sorry. You're correct.
Yep. Sorry.
Her, I get. Mr. Fantastic, I sort of get. However, if he's the smartest man, I would have figured he would have had more tech and stuff. But whatever.
Yeah, he just threw an arm at her.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, I mean, he's at a business meeting. He's not going to bring like his top tier fighting stuff.
But
and
if
then
he's
all of
the
a
smartest
sudden-
man around, I'm sure he would have thought of nanotech by now.
But no. The biggest issue with Mr. Fantastic is again, it's always his arrogance. Same with Tony
yeah.
Stark. They're both
Yeah.
like, I can deal with this, and until they're like, I can't.
But anyways,
Well,
my point was
yeah.
like, but with Charles Xavier, the dude he's powerful, man. Like, I get it. Like he's in a wheelchair, but like mentally, I don't know. That was too quick for me.
Yeah.
That was too quick for me.
I thought he would have been the only survivor, honestly. I thought.
Exactly.
That's what I
So
thought.
I did watch a leaked version of the fight.
Oh, really? You did?
So the listeners are aware.
Okay.
I watched a leaked version of the fight. Can we talk about the fact that Reed Richards answered her question when she was like, "Do you have kids?" And he said yes. Is Franklin Richards canonized now?
I was. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I care far less about Franklin than I do about his sister.
What?
Oh yeah, Franklin's great. Don't get me wrong, I love Franklin, but his sister's better.
I don't know about that one.
Franklin Richards can create universes in the palm of his hand.
Yeah, man. And he loses his powers like every 5 seconds. Like,
Well, yeah, because he's goated, dude. Like, he is
The goat.
he is literally the most powerful person in all of Marvel.
not true, but he's up
One
there.
of.
But
One of. He's like top 3 for sure.
But like literally, it's like, oh, his future self came and took his powers away. It's like, oh, surprise, your powers are gone. And then it's like, oh, your powers are gone. His powers are gone like every 5 seconds.
While that is fair, let me offer you this counterpoint. Shut up. I just want to see a Franklin Richards movie. Is that so much to ask?
Oh, no.
Just
Use
be
the
cool,
kid-
man.
use
Just
the
be
kid
cool.
From, from Adam Project.
Oh, I would say though, if we do get like, can we like actually like tangent that into like, since you started talking about like a little Fantastic Four sidebar, because we did see John Watts step down as Fantastic Four director.
Yeah.
Good. No, I'm just kidding.
I
I just want to see your reaction.
Okay. I was like, interesting. And it was very peaceful. He wasn't like Matt Mar. He wanted to just take a break. He said he'll be back.
Yeah.
Probably for Spider-Man 4, assuming.
Yeah.
But
which
will we
Spider-Man
get
4?
a more established Fantastic Four? Or do you think we're going to get a new
God, I
Fantastic
hope
Four?
so.
I think John's going to direct it.
I would love to get a more established Fantastic Four, and I'd love to see older kids. I don't want baby kids, though.
Like 13, 14, 15.
I like teenagers. You
Yeah.
know, like though I
like
will
young
say
Avengers age.
Yeah, I will say Valeria as a little child is always hilarious, being one of the smartest humans on the planet. You know, without the arrogance of her father, being smarter than him is always a fun dynamic that
Yeah.
could play out well
Yeah.
in like a more family friendly.
They should do a sitcom
movie.
Fantastic Four show. Like a Disney Plus show, Fantastic Four, but like a sitcom, not like a action-y.
Doing a Fantastic Four sitcom focused on the kids after the Fantastic Four movie on Disney Plus with all the Fantastic Four
Yeah.
supporting characters, and you leave the Fantastic Four as like background characters.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're
That
still
would be
like going to
so
space and
dope.
fighting.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Like
that would
whoever,
that would
but
be dope.
That'd be fun.
That's a great concept. I love it.
Yeah.
I would watch that show.
Absolutely.
So hard.
All right, sorry, we sidebar real hard, but going back, I loved Wanda. I loved her power. I loved just the whole concept of the movie was phenomenal. I loved it. I felt like I was expecting more multiversal madness,
Yes.
but at the same time, I'm kind of glad we didn't.
With the pace that it had, if it would have added any more, I think it would have slowed it down. I think it would have felt it like, because there was parts where I was like, is it going to drag? And luckily it picked up pretty quickly after that. But there were parts where I felt like if they would have tried to do that kind of stuff, it would have made it a little bit longer and a little bit more, harder to follow.
Well, I'll let you guys know what I think when I see it today. I'll text the group chat.
Okay, so let me get some nitpicks going on here. Actually, before that, Charlize Theron.
Oh my gosh, I was not expecting that.
Didn't see that coming.
Please,
Yeah.
Oh
explain.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Who-
go ahead.
Who is she playing?
She shows up in the first post-credit scene as Clea. She is the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension.
Right.
Also, she was Doctor Strange's wife for a time.
Dormammu's niece, right?
Yeah, something like that. There's some relation there.
Yeah.
She's one of the Faltine, which is the race of Dormammu for the listener. And in the comics currently, she's also the Sorcerer Supreme of the main universe because Doctor Strange is dead. Like happens. But yeah, that was such a good. Like I was not expecting that, and she just showed up and was like, "Oh, that's great casting." Also, too, the casting, like I didn't even know who she was. Like I knew it was Clea, but I didn't realize it was Charlize Theron. At first, I was like, not a direction I was expecting for them to go, and I'm super excited for wherever we see that play out.
Yeah. All right. I do think we are going to. This is just me theorizing and just guessing. I would not be surprised if we see some entanglement with Doctor Strange in this next Ant-Man movie. Based on what they're doing with Quantumania and trying to go with all that, I would not be surprised if we saw some entanglement of
They're
some sort.
expanding a lot.
Right. So it would be a long stretch, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some nitpicks because I think I, of the group, might have the biggest ones. I'm not a huge fan of Sam. I'm not a fan of the director. I like the writer. I think he did great with Loki. But to me, there was a few times in the film where it really just, I felt like I was watching Spider-Man, like the first one. And
That's a fair comparison.
I'm not, no,
I mean, it's the same director.
right, but it's 22 years later, and those Spider-Mans were great for their time, but I don't want to experience that again. I felt like there were some moments where it was a little bit goofy, a little bit cheesy, it definitely kind of caught me off a little bit. I'm like,
I will agree with you there and disagree at the same time. But like, I definitely know what you feel. I do feel like the one where Scarlet Witch was like swatting at the wraiths and that camera shot, I was like, I didn't like that. But at the same time, I knew it was like almost like exactly the same as like a shot from Evil Dead. One of the Evil Dead movies. I couldn't tell you. I haven't watched them recently. They all kind of blend together in my head right now. But that's kind of like, there's definitely a lot of Evil Dead vibes and references there. I forgot to check for the car. He puts that car in every movie that like Ash had in Evil Dead.
oh, okay.
It was the same car Uncle Ben drove.
See, and that I think that's the difference is you've watched his other things and been a fan of, and I'm just not.
And that's the thing. It's like I agree with you and disagree at the same time because it's like I enjoyed Sam Raimi's style, but at the same time it's like if you're not a fan of that style, it's definitely not something we've really seen in the Marvel universe.
Well, it's also just a weird mix. I think if it were any other director, the dark tone would have been more dark, if that makes sense. Like I felt like it wouldn't have taken me out as much. I felt like it would have been. And there's definitely some things in there that I appreciated that Sam did. A lot of I do enjoy some of the fight scenes that Sam brought in, but yeah, I don't know. It took me out too many times. I think like it distracted me enough to notice, if that makes sense.
And I think his style works really well with the level of violence. And I think that's really one of the only ways they could have gotten away with the level of violence in the MCU, because it does have this like campy undertone. So it, like, while it was gruesome on some levels, it still made it feel very comic-like.
Right. Yeah. And that's fine. Like, and that was a part of me going into it, because I knew it's a comic book movie.
Yeah.
You're going to hit some of that, and you have to. And so, but what did you like? Did you even like hear the music? Like, obviously, there's that big music battle at the end. That was, that's another thing. But the music by Danny Elfman, even that music kind of took me out every once in a while. It felt like a little too on the nose with some of the themes.
Are we talking about Nightmare Before Christmas, Danny Elfman?
Yeah.
He did the music?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, it didn't take you out.
No, the music didn't take. The music.
Just me.
It was weird.
The music was. I mean, and again, I think it's just like knowing like who the director was. It didn't take me out of it because I had that expectation.
Yeah.
I feel like the first chunk of the movie, you wouldn't necessarily know it's Sam Raimi.
I agree with you there.
Like, because I feel like he definitely improved from like older stuff, like even just like from the Spider-Man movies, like looking at how the wedding in the beginning is shot and all of that. I feel like he either changed things for the sake of it being an MCU movie, or he's just learned differently. Like, I felt like those shots for all the dialogue and all the dialogue heavy stuff was really well shot. And I think that made all of the horror-esque elements stand out in a different way. And to like what you're saying about it feeling almost like two different directors there.
Yeah.
But no, the music didn't take me out of it. I mean, the music really sucked me in with the X-Men theme. I was like, oh man, that was a nice.
Right. I mean, it was nice to hear that theme, and like there was other themes that I enjoyed, but there were moments where it felt goofy too. Like
the 80s guitar sound was the third eye.
Yeah, and I understood why. The way I kind of looked at it and why I didn't rate it as low as I've seen some of my friends rate it is because I kind of expected a little bit from Sam, but also it's multiverse. It's supposed to be a little wacky.
Yeah.
And so I kind of excuse that in my brain of like, okay, I'm gonna excuse this with it's multiverse. It's supposed to be a little strange. It's supposed to be a little weird, and so that's how I kind of excused it in my brain. But okay, questions. Is Wanda really dead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Jessica mentioned that she saw a glimmer of light
There's
flash.
like this. I thought that.
Team Wanda.
So I thought that red, you see this like red splash of light after, as Wangador, yes, collapses, or on top of her. Spoiler alert: she kills herself in the end. To destroy the Darkhold. You don't care.
What?
But I think that, like she's not really a redeemable character at that point. Like after the level of violence that she committed,
she's not going.
Well, see, that's where I was trying to excuse it.
but
she's not going back on the lunchbox.
The level of violence, though, like
she is
it
off.
becomes excusable to parents. In my opinion.
And that's why I was trying to find an excuse of like, well, maybe it is truly just like the dark took over her. And because let's look at all the MCU films. Like they excuse bad guy behavior all the time.
Yeah.
Like on the basis of like, oh, well, that's who you were then and that's who you are now, or you paid your dues, or you were just doing it because you had no other, there was a necessity.
Yeah.
And so I think, I don't know if she's really gone. I can't imagine, especially after this performance.
Now, the only other thing, too, is, like, if I remember correctly, her contract definitely has more in it. But I don't know. And that's the thing is, I would love to see her again, but, like, she definitely can't go back to being the Avenger.
So what about...
That's a good point.
Again, I only saw, like, the one bit. I know when they killed Stephen Strange in their universe, they built a statue for him and still made him out to be a hero. Is that possible for Wanda? Like they make her out to be a hero, and then she comes back, and all she has to do is convince them, not
See,
the
that
world.
would be hard after Westview.
That's what I was
though.
gonna say. Like, because I would guess everybody knows about Westview. You know, I
But
want to
do-
know.
unless they
but
try
do
to
they
keep it
know
under
that?
wraps.
Do they
Unless
know that
they
it was
did.
her? That's the thing. Like they may
That
know that
people,
it
the
happened.
residents of Westview know that
That's
it
a
was
good
her.
point.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it's like they're not gonna be silent about
No.
that.
Okay,
They're gonna
but
be
that's
like,
what 1,000 people.
but no. But
Especially
think about
after
it this
the
way:
Accords.
like an Avenger just
That too.
an
Yeah.
Avenger just took over and locked all of our kids in our house and made us relive this nightmare over and over again,
Yeah.
going through different decades. Like that's gonna be all over Reddit. Like,
Fair enough.
let me tell you my experience in Westview. I was this gardener and I could only garden
Okay,
so far.
yeah, okay, but let's look at it though. Like people find out horrible things about people that they like all the time, and they just choose to ignore it. Like,
This
have
is
you
true,
ever
but-
tried to convince somebody that Trump raped a woman? Because they will not believe you if they're Trump supporters.
That and that's fair. But it's
That
different
is
when you
fair.
have
It absolutely
you have
happened,
a
and
town
they
of
don't believe you.
5,000 people who are like, and the government's gonna be like, yeah, actually this happened. Like yeah, sort of, but yeah, she just kind of flew off into the sunset because we also did a bunch of bad things and we kind of provoked her, so we're gonna just kind of let her be.
So the government has just as much reason to cover it up as anybody else.
Yeah.
I
Where's
think,
White Vision, man?
that was one of my thoughts too. Like, where's he in all this? Like,
Yeah,
come
I
on, man.
thought-
I know he's off trying to figure things out, but still,
Like,
come on,
where
man.
is he?
He's on a journey of introspection. All right,
Who knows? I mean,
self-discovery.
He's a vision. He could be.
Anywhere.
He doesn't even necessarily have to be on planet.
He was watching the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just popcorn, just
Yeah.
man, I'm glad I'm not with her anymore.
Yeah.
Either
Yeah,
that or
so
he's
my
like,
ex,
yeah, go
my
get my
ex went off
kids.
the deep end, and yeah, let's sit this one out.
So speaking of Reddit, a theory I saw is the 616 Strange still being affected. At the end of the movie, we saw like the third eye come up. Is he still being affected by the power of the Darkhold, or is someone dreamwalking his body?
I
Darkhold.
don't think it's necessarily either. Like I think it's like a physical, it's a consequence of him using the Darkhold, but I don't think it's necessarily like a being tainted. Like I don't think it's like a continual influence of the Darkhold per se. I think it's like you use the Darkhold and now you've got this weird
Just got a scar.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing.
shenanigans.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
like a continual like he's being poisoned by it as but no, I don't think anyone's dreamwalking his body because I know that there have been stuff said that like they want to make basically Strange the new Tony Stark for the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
So it's like you kind of got to have him floating around in good health ish.
right.
So is this the same Darkhold from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or is it different?
Is it Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with? Does it
It's-
actually matter?
Did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. really happen? Is the real question.
Right. they still
I
haven't
don't know.
actually
That's
answered
what
that.
I'm asking.
Well, the
There's no mention of
Darkhold,
it.
there is a Darkhold in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This one obviously looks different.
So probably not.
I
So
don't think
probably not canon.
I think if they were going to canonize Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the MCU, it would be the same Darkhold. They don't make mistakes like that.
Yeah. And one of my thoughts was in the comics there being multiple Darkholds. And then I also had the thought where this line of movie, it's like, well, the Darkhold's a copy. I'm like, oh,
Right.
are they leaving that door open? And it's like, oh no, it's just a copy of these walls. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So no, I think that yes, but no, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is probably like some alternate reality after all the time travel shenanigans. at
God,
the
I
end.
hope
Yeah.
so.
I mean, the thing that I want though is I want Robbie Reyes. Like I want like Gabriel Luna was a great Robbie Reyes. His Ghost Rider was great.
Yeah.
It was
That car was beautiful too.
way higher quality than I ever expected from that TV show.
Yeah, from the freaking Hulu show.
But like right when he I was getting ready to drop the show and they brought him in, I was like, all right, I'm back.
Now, speaking of, you're mentioning, wanting Doctor Strange is kind of like the new Iron Man. My hope, because when John Krasinski was giving that speech to Scarlet Witch, I was like, I want him to be the new Captain America. Like, not obviously Captain America, but like
I would love for him to stick around for quite some time.
You talking about like John Krasinski? Or?
Oh yeah. But I mean, if we get him as Mr. Fantastic, if not, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, guys, let's do a rating, what we thought about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Chris?
9. We'll give it a 9.
Jordan?
Give it a 9.
Wow. Justin?
Probably a 9.
Hey, I'm doing all right.
I think
Don't you do it.
I'm dancing around
Don't
between
you do it.
like a 7 and an 8. So
I
I'm
knew he was
gonna
gonna say 7.
7.5.
I knew he was gonna say 7.
I saw that 7 coming.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm not. Look, the standout things was Elizabeth Olsen and John Krasinski. That
Elizabeth
was my.
Olsen always stands out.
I'm telling you, those are the things that really. I enjoyed the film. I'll go back and watch the film.
Yeah.
I did not like it,
You're gonna watch.
I might go
but
back
it was
tonight.
not. Huh?
You say you did not like it?
No, I did like it.
Oh,
I did not like it.
I didn't not like it.
Not like
Not.
But it's not like. I think it's number 11 on my MCU ranking.
Why do you have that so well like categorized?
Like number 11. Like I can tell you like 1 through 3 maybe.
Yeah.
I couldn't even
11.
do that. Like he knows all the way down, like in order, every MCU movie that's come out, he knows exactly which one it is.
11.
I mean, it's. I have a. Yeah,
He didn't even think about it. Like
It was
that's
like,
the
it's
thing.
number
It
11.
just came off the
It's
tongue.
number 11.
Number 11.
Where is Thor? Dark World.
25.
Why does he do this?
What's last?
What was last? Shoot, I'm trying to remember.
It's so bad he doesn't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Was
It
it
might have been Incredible Hulk.
Was it Ant-Man?
No. It might
Well,
have
you
been-
put Incredible Hulk below Thor: The Dark World. I'd have to think about that.
right.
I'd have to watch
Now
both.
it changes. It changes, like and that's why I'm saying like this one might go lower, it might go higher, but right now that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
I've only had one viewing, and it's recency bias. So
11.
Yes.
11.
11.
So
can't.
even with the recent bias, it's still at 11.
Yeah.
So,
No, wait. Oh,
so
him?
it's just gonna get worse. That's what you're saying.
Well, not necessarily. Like there's some movies that I have put up because I appreciate them differently over time, but
That is a hard thing for me about rating MCU movies. It's like I can give it a number, but I can't place it because some movies, like a movie by itself and what the movie does for the
Right,
MCU,
absolutely.
are two different things.
yeah. Yeah, Endgame by itself is not the greatest movie ever made, but because of its accumulation of all the different characters and the build-up, it's fantastic. So,
And just the viewing experience you had in theaters, like,
Yeah.
oh man, that was amazing.
right. All right, guys. Well, that is our reviews for Moon Knight and Doctor Strange. Let's move on real quick to some previews. So we're only going to talk about a few because we've talked a little bit recently, but some trailers have come out. So let's talk about the trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. How are we feeling about this, guys?
No villain shown.
I truly don't know
Yeah.
how I feel about it at all. Like between the mixing of the different gods, which I know happens in comics, but like you don't expect it in a Marvel movie, like mixing the Greek gods and the Norse gods and whoever else. I did appreciate the classic Thor outfit that flashed for a little bit. That
Yes.
was cool.
Yeah, speaking of, wasn't one of the younger Thors his actual son?
Yeah. I've heard it was his son.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like the workout scene, like
Yes.
because nobody wants, and it's upsetting that it has to be this way, but nobody wanted the bigger Thor for like a full movie.
Melted
Yeah.
I would
ice
have
cream.
loved to watch it. I think it'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
But I'm a comedy guy, so that's my thing.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that they show him like working out. He's not just all of a sudden fit now.
Right.
Like they show the workouts, which his outfit, if I'm not mistaken, multiple versions of his outfits in the trailer were like straight rips from King of Fighters. I thought that was cool. So, it is what it is. I appreciated the Russell Crowe thing. Like as Zeus? Are you kidding me?
You know what's interesting here is Eternals kind of almost messed this up because it's going to get very tricky about how they kind of explain these different gods from different origins, from different
yeah.
like Greek gods, it's like especially with Moon Knight, Egyptian gods, because with who was it?
Athena?
Yeah, because some of them
yeah.
are just like made up, some of them are eternal, some of them are it's a hodgepodge
Some
at this
of them are
point.
Celestials.
Right. So
yeah.
it's interesting how I wonder where they're going to go from here on explaining.
I think, and going back full circle to Moon Knight, Tarawet explained it like this is an afterlife. There are a bunch of like different planes of existence, and then she even referenced the ancestral plane from Black Panther.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably going to be how they explain that. Like if you don't think about it too much, these people are from this part,
Right.
these people are from this part, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bit of legend that catches up and like that takes hold, and
Yeah.
there's actually the reality of Thor, Zeus, whoever. I am curious. Do we think we're going to have the comic book accurate, like Lady Thor has cancer storyline, or
It'll be interesting to see if Natalie Portman's Thor has cancer, or if Jane Foster has cancer.
right?
I don't know. That's all up in the air. What I am more interested in is Gore the God.
I am.
Butcher.
Did you see the interview that Taika had? He
Nope.
said.
Why would I have seen an interview? I don't watch
He
those.
doesn't watch
Come
this
on,
stuff.
bro.
Yeah, true. Okay. He basically said that in his humble opinion that he believes that Gore is the best MCU villain. Now, if it was any director saying that, whatever. But I
trust Taika
But
Waititi.
I trust.
I mean, but here's the thing. I'm also gonna say, like, until we get a Doctor Doom, yes, probably.
a good Doctor. No,
I was gonna say,
I
we've
think he
had
means
two
like what we
Dr.
had in the
Dooms.
MCU.
Yeah. No, I'm saying until we get a Doctor Doom, I'm gonna say he's probably gonna be probably the best villain. Gore is, oh man, because also his weapon is all black, the Necro sword, which is literally was the sword that belonged to Null, the god of the symbiotes, like Venom symbiote.
Yeah.
So yeah, like he's out here killing gods. Like that scene in the trailer where we see that giant creature.
Yes.
It's literally like a shot recreation from a panel
Yeah.
Oh,
of
yeah.
Jason Aaron and Saad Ribic's run on Thor, which also it's so different. Like you have this like music in the trailer that's like very like lighthearted.
Right.
But like that was actually the run where I started collecting Thor was that, I'm pretty sure. And it's like, oh, this is dark. Like it's like like you're like, oh shoot, this isn't the same kind of feel. So I'm interested to see like how the movie will portray all that.
Right.
I'm also interested to see how Natalie Portman's Thor comes about,
Yeah.
and how that's going to affect Thor himself.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, there's my hammer. Some random lady has it because her helmet covers her face. He doesn't know who that is. And then also the other factor is like last time he saw his hammer, Steve had it.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, are you worthy? Like, what does it mean to be worthy?
But
Like,
isn't that hammer, that one shattered? So I'm assuming this is the one from his universe.
yeah, this is the one from his universe is repaired. Like, yeah,
Right.
And also, who repaired the hammer?
Well,
a good
yeah,
question.
Yeah. Is this going to be the end of Chris Hemsworth as Thor?
I don't think so.
You think he's in it for a little bit more?
Yeah.
He's in the Guardians. Well, the Guardians are in this movie.
Yes.
And speaking on that, I am curious how Taika handles the Guardians.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be for a long part of the film. I imagine it's
probably,
only
probably like the first 5-10 minutes.
Right.
tops.
Yeah.
And they might bookend it too. Like, if there's like a big
Yeah.
battle at the end, they might come back.
Yeah.
I could see something like that happening for like a big,
Right.
like, I don't know. I haven't looked into things too much, but like, we have the Olympians. I know Zeus is kind of a D-bag, just generally. If you know anything about Greek
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
mythology.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
very
also
well.
Zeus in the Marvel universe is the worst. But also I'm like, are we going to see Hercules
I was thinking
or
that too.
Ares,
Yeah.
both of who have been
Yeah.
Avengers, and Ares has been on both sides, the villain.
See,
side.
my problem with that is I always mix up DC Olympians and Marvel Olympians in my head. So I'm trying to remember, like, which one was the one that did this versus...
If there were a D-bag, it was probably Marvel.
yeah, it was probably Marvel.
I mean,
Unless it's Hercules.
Actually, no, I take that back.
Hercules
Zeus-
is a pretty big D-bag in DC, too.
yeah, no.
Ares is a straight-up villain.
Yeah, Ares was until he joined the Avengers, and now he appears he is again. But no, I will say Hercules was less of a d-bag in Marvel, but in Zeus and the DC was also just kind of like, he has
They
a lot
all
of,
just suck.
he has too many kids.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, it's coming out July 8th, so it's right around the corner.
It doesn't even seem like it's coming out.
So much is happening so fast.
I'm so ready for this. I mean, I'm not watching another trailer or anything for it.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Right now, Jess and I were watching Our Flag Means Death, and it just Taika he knows him and James Gunn. Their style is so beautiful. They know how to be so really random and funny, but also how to find those. It's those very small moments, those small little targets of hitting the heart, and they just know how to do it so fine.
Yeah.
It's more like a surgical cut than it is like a big blow, and it just, man, I'm ready for it. November 11th, we got Black Panther coming out. Still no trailer, still no artwork, nothing like that. However, people are going around the press talking about, basically they're wanting to honor Chadwick, which obviously they should. I know we kind of talked about this last episode, but are we any ideas, any hints, any thoughts about where they could take this? Obviously, we have Ironheart in there. We got
Falcon might be, Captain America might be in there.
right.
Captain America. I hope so because we haven't seen him in a bit.
Yeah.
I
Makes
feel like
sense.
they need to make this movie, if possible, even blacker than the first one. Like, I want to see all of the black Marvel characters that have any kind of influence at all in the new. Like, I'm talking, what's his name? Isaiah Bradley, not Captain America, but the guy that got the super soldier serum. He was the Captain America while Steve was frozen, but then he ended up like being charged by the government for doing exactly what they told him.
I actually,
his
I
son
don't care about
is a young Avenger
grandson.
or grandson. Yeah,
Yes.
But I want to see him.
Yep.
Like they didn't put him in that show for nothing.
No, he definitely had that cameo
he's
for a
coming.
purpose.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
I want to see like an actual on the big screen. I'm real stoked to see Ironheart, Riri Williams. That's gonna be amazing. I'm so pumped for this movie.
Yeah.
This is gonna be like the representation that young black kids need,
Right.
and I'm pumped for it.
I'm nervous.
You're nervous.
I'm
Yeah,
also
I'm
nervous.
just-
I'm
I'm
nervous.
just nervous.
Like, was Black Panther lightning in a bottle?
I think Black Panther was lightning in a bottle in a sense that it's being mass produced, and you will get another bottle of lightning.
I see, but that's my concern. It's like Chadwick, man. Like,
That's my
That-
that's my only concern.
Can it be done again the same exact way? Almost certainly not.
can we get a soundtrack though from Kendrick Lamar? I need a volume 2.
Yeah, volume
We
2.
better get
Black
it.
Panther
We
2.
better.
Kendrick Lamar.
We
Kendrick
better.
Lamar has been in hiding.
He's dropping an album this month.
Maybe it's the
Allegedly.
soundtrack for this.
Hey,
Hey,
it's supposed to be a double album.
I don't believe it until it is in my ears because Kendrick.
Kendrick posted it, bro. Kendrick never posts. Kendrick only posts his albums.
I still don't believe it. I won't
That's
believe it until I
fine.
hear it.
He was at
Ye-
the Super Bowl.
You
He's
heard
still-
it from
he's still
Kendrick.
alive.
That's the only reason I knew he was still alive.
That's
This
what I'm
man has
saying.
been gone.
Like, you know he's still alive. You saw him at the Super Bowl.
But was that him? Was that him? Was that a hologram?
Or a clone.
Fair enough. Hey, man, with the Illuminati coming out, you never know.
All right, let's move along. We got just one more mention, and that is the Obi-Wan trailer that came out.
Bro.
I feel like every time we do one of these episodes, like the trailers drop right after.
Yep.
So
real.
we're going to get like a Black Panther trailer like
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan, the second trailer dropped on May 4th. The
As
first
it
and
should.
the second one dropped in between these two episodes.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. Obi-Wan is my favorite Star Wars character.
It
and-
is going to be so cool.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped for it.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is my second favorite Star Wars character.
I was not expecting to look when they cast. They didn't know what they were doing when George cast Joel Edgerton as Lars, but man, I'm excited to see that dynamic between him and Obi-Wan. That comment he had in the trailer where he was because Obi-Wan talking about training him and I want to raise him up like like you did his father.
Yeah. I was
no,
like,
that hit me, man. I'm like crying at a trailer right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really excited
gonna
for
be
that.
good.
Seeing the mechanical breastplate get put onto Vader.
Yeah.
Oof,
Yep. The breathing.
oof.
Yeah.
It's like they're not showing him at all. They're just like
It's
saving it all.
literally just the breastplate and
Yeah.
the breathing, and Star Wars fans across the world are like, "Oh my god!" like melting.
Yeah.
My prediction is we're going to get a we're going to see possibly Rex. I think that might be a possibility.
Captain Rex.
Maybe Ahsoka. I think that would be the big drop.
I would love to see Ahsoka because she is my favorite character of all
Yeah.
Star Wars canon. I think my prediction for this show is that he's not going to touch a lightsaber until the last episode.
Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan. I don't think he's actually going to touch a lightsaber until the last episode.
I could see that.
I'm gonna say halfway through.
You think
But
halfway?
but I
You-
agree.
I think they're
with
going to delay it.
Oh, no, it's definitely gonna be-
maybe in the first episode, and then for the next,
Yeah.
like, whoop,
I think that
wrap
we're
in.
gonna see him on because when we see him, in that one shot in the trailer, like Obi-Wan has a blaster, so
yeah.
uncivilized.
So
but-
uncivilized.
Yes.
But like,
But like he knows he's a wild man at this point. He's living with the Banthas right now.
but like
so
that. I mean, but that's the thing. It's like you see Obi-Wan with a blaster. I'm like, oh, I like this already.
shit's
Yeah.
changed.
And he's being chased by someone with a lightsaber.
yeah,
Yeah.
by one of the Inquisitors.
Yeah.
How many Inquisitors are we going to see? I hope it's a lot. I hope a lot of them die too. Like no, like we know the Grand Inquisitor isn't going to die because this is set before Rebels,
Right.
And the Grand Inquisitor is in Rebels, but
But
the
we
others,
got the what are the, not the Night Sister, second sister, third sister, whichever sister it is.
yeah.
Like, I don't know, but I think a few of those are gonna die for sure.
oh yeah, I would love to see, and I would also love to see some character overlap from the Fallen Order game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like even just like a mention of Cal Kestis would be top tier for me.
That'd be dope.
I think we're gonna see Qui-Gon.
Yeah,
We have to see Qui. Look,
Liam Neeson
that was
as
like
Qui-Gon?
yeah, that was one of
Yeah.
the last things in number 3 of like
Well, he never, like canonically speaking, anyways. So far, he never had the corporeal body. He was just the
he was a
living force.
He was.
Like,
It was just a voice. He had never
was
had
a
an
voice,
incorporeal
yeah.
body that we could see. But at the end of episode 3, like what Tim was saying, when Yoda was talking about Qui-Gon, I don't remember the line of dialogue exactly.
an old friend of yours.
yeah, he's that's how Yoda. Well, I mean, obviously we see that in Clone Wars. Like he
Yeah.
has that whole that journey through. What was it? Oh shoot! How he learned to do
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but I think we'll see it. Like, even if it's just like in a moment where Obi-Wan is down or he's getting ready to, like maybe the episode prior to him going against Vader.
Or even like
I
I
don't know that we'll see him.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't know that we'll see him like in the time, but probably a flashback. We'll definitely hear his voice. I think 100%.
What if
we'll
it's
hear
his
voice.
conscience and just like trying to help him guide him through all this?
Like through the whole show, like
Yeah.
you just hear Liam Neeson just telling
I
Obi-Wan
would
what to do.
love to see Vader and Qui-Gon.
Oh, like Qui-Gon's like trying to convince Vader to come back to the light.
That'd be interesting.
huh?
I mean, he really only had like 4 conversations with him, but go
But
off.
Qui-Gon believed in him so much.
And he is the one that like freed him and changed the course of his life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd love to see
Massive
some
impact.
sort of interaction there.
Who's writing this? Who's writing the series?
I don't know.
Does
idea.
anyone know?
man, no.
I know.
Your mom.
Obviously, Filoni and Favreau are involved, but who's writing it? Because I feel like that could be a very good tie-in. Because if they are these guys, they know this thing inside and out. They could easily say something that would make sense later in one of the original trilogy. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, Filoni is.
They're a master at like
Pixar
setting up
team,
things that make
Writers
sense.
Guild, Hannah Friedman, Andrew Stanton. So they're doing it the way they've been doing Star Wars episodes. Each person writes a different episode.
Oh, okay. Are Filoni and Favreau executive producers? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, I think I wouldn't be surprised if we got that kind of tie-in. That's a good point.
Actually,
No,
They're not.
Kathleen Kennedy and Michelle Regewin. Are they even involved in this?
I mean, I'm sure that they are. in some
Yeah, no,
level.
they have to be.
I mean, Filoni.
They're back there. They're talking to him. There's
Filoni,
no
I
way.
mean, yeah, Filoni is kind of like the person second to George Lucas, really.
He's
when
a
it comes to
walking
canon.
Wikipedia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be as good as he is at all this stuff.
Yep.
Music's still by John Williams, though. So
Oh,
that's good.
he asked to do it too, I believe. Oh, I love John Williams. Okay. All right, guys. We got to move on. This show has gone plenty of minutes.
Long, yes.
Plenty of minutes.
Plenty of minutes. One last thing I will mention. We mentioned the past few weeks some things coming up around the corner. You got Stranger Things on May 27th, The Boys on June 3rd, Umbrella Academy June 23rd, and then on August 21st we have House of the Dragon. Anyone excited about that?
I'm not excited about House of Dragon, but I'm probably gonna watch it.
Okay.
Umbrella Academy, I'm super stoked about. The Boys, I'm really pumped about. I actually binge watched the cartoon
Oh, really?
in one day, the whole thing in one day. It was great. Stranger Things, I'm pretty pumped about as well.
sorry, hold up. What is House of the Dragon?
It's the prequel to
Game of
Game of
Thrones.
Thrones.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't care.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's it.
I never watched Game of Thrones. I was
Same.
So my thoughts on Game of Thrones were like, oh, this thing is gonna run for a long time,
And it absolutely
and
did.
I was, and like I didn't really know anything about it because that first season it wasn't like big.
No.
You know?
No.
And then it kind of picked up, and I was like, oh, this might be something I watch when it's over. And then it ended, and the way it ended,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm glad I spared myself that level of disappointment.
Yeah.
And I was like, if all the books ever come out, maybe I'll read them.
So my wife and I binged before the last season. We binged all of the other ones. And then when the last season came out, we were caught up. So we watched them episode by episode. And I was so bitter
Yeah, me
when
too.
the ending happened. I was just like, you know what? I wasted all of this time.
Yeah.
I would have been so much happier had I not. Because I was one of those people when it came out, I was like, I'm not going to watch this show. And I didn't until the last season. My sister-in-law finally convinced me to watch it. And they're like, all right, fine. We'll check it out. And it was great up until the ending.
And Game of Thrones is so fascinating in the way that like it kind of like collectively just disappeared from pop culture.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everyone
It was so big
it
for
was
so long, and then it was
universally
just
hated the ending. Like they're just like everyone's like, nope, we're done. We're not talking about it.
gone. It never happened. It's like,
That
didn't
ending-
you
that
used
ending
to
will kill
love
it.
Game of Thrones? Game of who?
Game of what?
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
Not me.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to end a show that good, but I feel like they really just phoned it in from everything. But
Yeah.
Yep.
Completely agree.
Well, guys, that will conclude this episode of Always More Nerd. Any final thoughts before we close this thing out?
I'm still just struggling with the fact that Chris doesn't care about spoilers. It's really
That is crazy. That is crazy.
I'm struggling with the fact that you just don't watch trailers. Like, even trailers upset you.
Yeah.
That's what
No,
kills
it's not
me.
like
I'm
They-
still upset you haven't watched the Snyder Cut.
they
you know?
don't
Exactly,
They don't
exactly,
upset
exactly,
me.
exactly.
They just, man, it's just I don't want to get things spoiled. I want to go and I want to be surprised, especially now that they're pulling from comics that like are in recent memory. It's like, no, I know too much. Like I can see one thing that you might be like, oh, this is nothing, and I'm like, oh shoot.
See, that's my thing. Like, I watch the trailers and stuff, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I know exactly where this is going. I'm down for this. This is going to be so great. But even then, when I do that, it changes. 'Cause
Like I didn't know. I got all the Illuminati were new for me. Everyone who wasn't in the trailer knew. I didn't know who was in the movie. I didn't know.
I didn't either, but
But like I'm sure some of that stuff probably leaked, like as to characters who were around, and like people like Jordan said, what's her face was at the premiere, Rambo,
I did not expect that.
and like I'm like
not see that
I want to be entirely surprised by all of that.
That's why I do not follow Marvel or Disney Plus right now.
Oh, I don't follow them ever.
they turned off their comments for the weekend.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
good
saw
for
that.
them.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to because someone's gonna just
Yeah.
some jerk's gonna post spoilers in the comments.
Yep.
It's wild. All right. Well, on that note, Chris, where can we follow you, man?
Oh, I'm on Instagram and TikTok. Instagram is Captain_CT Ford. TikTok is Christopher.Lionheart.
Jordan?
I'm on TikTok and Instagram at Jordan CRTV.
Justin?
I am also on TikTok and Instagram at Justin is Theory.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Timothy Lichty, and on TikTok at Tim Lichty. Guys, thank you all so much for listening and being a part of the conversation. Remember, there's always more than this. See you guys next time.
Laters.
Deuces.
Shut up.